Hi, everyone. We're in week 5 of the book Life Let It Flow Effortlessly. And thank you for being able to be here. We're going to be going through pages 87 to 112 today. And I wanted just to make sure and let you guys see where the section is in case you're on the electronic version. How do you make a difference? That's the section. We're going to be going through on your numbered version. It's 87 to 112. But if you have the Kindle version, it doesn't have page numbers that correspond. So how do you make a difference? This is a really big part. It was more of the inspiration of the book was about helping you make a difference. And I want to make sure just to kind of go through the text here. I've got some things highlighted that I want to share. Just make sure to create it here. And I know that you guys are going to be reading it, but also to be able to just kind of give some other side comments and things on that as we go through the pages here. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on just being able to go through a couple of highlights here. So you're ready to see actions and results to enhance your life and increase your own business. This is the part where I feel like we've gone through the foundation, we've seen the crabs, we've been able to see what holds us back, how we hold ourselves back. We've been able to see the actual life process, believe, decide, and act. And then we've looked at, how do we create real value, understanding that your presence alone is enough and that your strengths and the way that you behave and how you're inspired to take action is going to be very valuable to so many people. So I wanted to, as we start this, how do you make a difference, looking at the fact that you already see these actions and results that that are increasing either in your life or in your business. This work can work in both places. Wanted to make sure and just state too that I believe in you. I mean, we're doing this work together, and the mentoring that I do with people is a lot of times they're not believing in themselves, and having others to be able to share that is that I love when I watch people work through this work, because I really do believe in you and I see so much potential in what you're able to do. A lot of that comes from being able to have a maximizer strength, but a lot of that is being able to see that you're not going to hold yourself back anymore, and that's going to be a huge momentum gainer, right? If you're not holding you back, then you're able to move forward effortlessly and freely, just the way you were created, valuable, okay? And then my hope is that, the result of that is you'll have some good clarity and focus as you move forward. As I do my job correctly, you'll invest less time and less money, grow faster, and achieve higher returns on your investment. And then I'm so excited that you're ready for that, because this is the part where it all starts to really matter and create evidence in all parts of your life. You're the common denominator in your life and your work and your business and your community. And when this starts to be able to let you expand, everything in all those other categories benefits, right? So it's really cool. I'm glad that you're excited for that, because you wouldn't be reading this otherwise. So I believe that life is meant to flow effortlessly, and now let's let it. So you're going to let it happen, right? That's a key part, is to be able to receive it and to allow it to happen. So as we've tapped into owning our own power, it's really time for you to utilize that and to test how effective you are. Some people have a great skill to pull them forward, and their success comes fast. It doesn't depend on time. Their success and their results depend on how effective they are, what opportunities they see, and the actions they take. They could, quite frankly, quit the company they're in and build from scratch, quickly achieving the same level of success in a brand new venture. They are successful not from what they do, but from who they have become. And that's my wish for you. As you really get into knowing who you are, then it wouldn't matter what life, dealt you, a curveball or something like that. If you had to start all over again, you have the ability to understand what is unique about you, what is valuable about you, and what is priceless. I could apply this when I went into a job anywhere, to be able to add emphasis and do extra things or do it with care. And then I can do this in a way of starting a new business or starting another business, that kind of thing. So you see this in people who really know who they are. They could be, transported from one place to the other and start all over, and they would be fine. That's what we're talking about, is having you be totally filled up with this understanding of who you are, inspired value, and be able to have that fill up the cup and then start spilling over everywhere. It doesn't matter where I take this cup called you're going to be fine, and you're going to be creating value everywhere. In relationships, in volunteering, in family, in community, in job, in business, it doesn't matter. And that's what I see for you. That's what I see for everyone who embarks on this work and allows themselves to uncover those things that you can do effortlessly. So people who seek out business success or financial books are eager to get busy and get into action. Just remember that aimless action will get you nowhere. People will follow your example. Leaders will want to be careful to match their words with their actions, because what you do or don't do will be copied. So if you're trying to take this into your team, remember, if you're just telling them about it, you have to be owning it and actually doing it. It's the reason that many of the direct sales and network marketing companies talk about being a product of the product first. If I'm not utilizing it, then I can't actually influence it, because I could tell you all day long what to do, but you're going to follow what you see me doing. And you're going to, and what gets seen is sort of like how I am, you know, in that situation. They're going to follow your behavior before they follow what you say. So just be knowing what you're trying to put out there if you're leading a team, right? And the key, of course, to this business, or really any business, is consistency and persistency. And those are tough words. I even have a little thing in here, like, you know, when you were a kid, you remember the left, right, left. We used to have to do this in elementary school just to stay in line and stay, you know, at timing. We used to say left, 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 right, left, and keep the pace, right? Well, now, from a business standpoint, it's consistency and persistency. Think about that with every step you make, consistency and persistency. Truly, I believe that's the march of this world, of this success in this business. And you know, many people who are, you'll see it on the leadership stages, or if you're watching successful people on TED Talks or videos, many times they'll confess that the secret to their success was they just didn't quit. They didn't quit on themselves. They didn't quit on the opportunity they had a hold of. They didn't quit on knowing that they could reach people. I know that, gosh, there's every success person talked about it. You know, Michael Jordan talks about he took the most shots and missed the most shots in order to win, you know, have the most scores, right? Thomas Edison, trying to create the light bulb, had so many failures in order to be able to figure out what didn't work. So it's a constant thing. It's just, as long as you won't quit on you and you won't quit on what you're trying to move forward. There are times where you have to read the signs and maybe correct things, but just understanding that your value is going to be the thing that's going to be consistently added to anything you do. So just don't quit on you, and then don't quit on the process that you're looking to connect and bring value to the marketplace. So as I was working as a teenager, I worked at McDonald's, and one of the things they taught us to say was, how can I help you? And I like the idea of kind of changing that a little bit to, how can I serve you? What I did too was I took this to see how much more powerful it could be when I started doing seminars and workshops with this work in transformational leadership. And I would start the workshops off with asking people like, hey, you know, you've set aside your time. I could give you back money, but I can't replace this time. What can I bring of value that would actually help you for this investment you've made here today? How can I serve you? And I would take that assessment so that people would tell me what it was they wanted to learn that day, and then that way I would give them exactly what they wanted in the order they wanted it. So I might have had a whole bunch of things already planned to talk about, but what would happen is that then this would actually help the workshop to be able to be formatted the way people asked for it to be done. And so it was really important, because what happens is when someone's asking that question, you know, and I'm saying, how can I serve you? And they're telling me, then at that moment, they're ready to receive what value I have. That's the time when they're ready to receive it. When they're asking that question, they're ready to get that answer. And that actually turned into a great secret, made things really powerful for the workshops that I was doing. It was divinely revealed to me, and I talked about that in here in the book, is that people just need to be seen and heard. And so if you take this to the bank, everywhere you go, people just need to be seen and heard. In your communications, just remember, people just need to be seen and heard. They need to be validated. They need to be able to be honored that they exist, that their opinion matters, that their thoughts count. And if you can be that person that can give them this space, they're going to feel a connection with you a lot faster, because hardly anybody listens to them in this way. And so it's not to be used in a manipulative way. It's to be used in a sincere and an authentic way. But as you know you and you're complete, then you can actually provide that for others easily, because you're not trying to get something from them to make yourself whole and complete. You're actually flowing over onto them and giving them value by letting them be who they are and letting them honestly say what it is they need. So they're feeling seen and heard at a whole different level. And it's a beautiful part. That's why we work on building you up first, so that you're whole and complete. You're not stealing from the world, trying to take things and put it back in. You're actually getting all of your filling up from divine inspiration and things that come from God as to who you are, and now you're spilling over onto others as you're serving them. It's a much better process. And what happens is then you're able to give seeing and true hearing, listening at a whole different level to humanity. And that creates incredible connections really quickly. And it has people be drawn to you because they're feeling this sense of service that you're actually offering. They're feeling the authentic and honesty that you're offering. They're not feeling you're trying to push or sell or tell for your own advantage, that you're actually trying to help them. And of course, you're going to get things that are going to benefit you in the process. But it's not being done when it's stepping over them. It's for them first, and then it benefits you too. So that's the divine inspiration of people just need to be seen and heard. And notice I said not what they want, they need to be seen and heard. They really truly do need to be seen and heard. That's a human need that we can fulfill. If you look at people that cross your path every day with compassion and simply see them and hear them, you will increase your leadership power and your abilities substantially. I dare you to try it. Lead with your heart, be present, and sincerely hear and see and hear people. It's going to be amazing what you're going to see, because no matter what you're doing in life, your relationships and your connections will happen much deeper and richer, and that will lead you, because every relationship is where doors open for opportunity, whether it be opportunities for new things or opportunities for business or income or things like that. They always come through people. So this is going to help you with the people connection. So try this. Actually, I want to hear from you and let me know what you discover, because it'll be really cool to see as you put this into action for yourself. What is it you notice? It might be just at your job. It might be just on your path to your work. It might be, as you're just moving along throughout a bunch of strangers. Just notice what's happening when you're that valuable and you're giving of this hearing and seeing and having people be able to be validated. What's going to happen? You're going to have some great stories. Another thing is really a revealing question that I like to ask is, what is it you want to learn more about so you can see better results? It may be that you don't own a business right now, but you want to. It may be that you could take this process and use it in any part of your life, to adapt it to fit your needs. But the goal is to help you discover what you need to focus on and to realize your purpose in life. So we're here for you for that discussion. So let us know how we can help you with that if you're looking to still clarify what it is you're wanting to make a difference in. So as we look at overflowing and encouraging others, I had written down here, others will come to you for guidance and they'll need your leadership. So this is a really cool part. So as you're looking at this work and doing it, remember others are needing this too. So people will be attracted. Some people will be attracted to you with the same issues that you're working on. It's no coincidence. First, understand that there is a tender human being there in your presence, and treat them with gentleness and kindness, since you don't know where they've been or what they're dealing with in their lives in that moment. Never assume anything, because there are people that, they've been up against who knows what, and you might be just that connection point or that answer for them to start feeling like they're okay again. Ask questions to guide them to their own development, and then help them discover how to release their own fears. So you can go through this work with them and have them follow in your path here, just to be able to make baby steps on this. It's a great process when you're taking it in and you're actually applying it to others. We have a lot of value to be able to share with the world that way. Some say this is just personal responsibility and accountability, but I believe you've got, we're creating this business owner mindset is more than that. It comes from a knowingness of who genuinely I'm combined with us. It comes from a knowingness of who genuinely I am combined with a selfless care for others. It's expressed in servant leadership style and seen in just being present to listen, understand, and solve issues, considering all parties involved. So imagine that you're looking at things from a business owner mindset, looking at a community development mindset. What is it you see that's the need? And making sure that you're taking in everybody's perspective so that you can see what can we do to be able to lead the actions forward to benefit the most amount of people, and to be able to create safety and help people to thrive. So that's really more on this business owner mindset that we're trying to nurture in you. And whether you have a business or not, it's a leadership mindset. And so value is more than money, it's relationships. That's where I was saying basically, everything comes through relationships. Entrepreneurs like myself will lead in teaching this culture adjustment. I believe this is going to lead the way our next businesses are. This culture adjustment of being able to work collaboratively, sharing the strengths that we've developed. Equipped with this new knowledge and value creation, leaders will empower their organizations to collaborate, to connect, and to create real value while adopting a community culture. Like each day, my mission is to go out and build quality relationships and to create value in my community. So remember our starting thoughts. If you had all of your time and more than enough money, what would you be? What would you do? What would you like to have? So focus on building quality relationships every day is going to be the key to this, and collaboration is going to be the way these relationships are going to work together. Nobody gets anywhere by themselves, alone. So my focus is to create value in the community every day. A community could be just a family, it could be a neighborhood, it could be an organization, a department, it could be a team, customers, a niche group, or an entire market. So I'm looking at that community word in a loose sense, just a group of people. The value I bring impacts the whole community and the whole economy. This creates a positive ripple effect, and as we band together to build communities, we'll strengthen our economy. So we cannot overlook the local for the global, really working in our local market to be able to create a better world. It's not about trying to be perfect, because perfect isn't real. Being real is what it's all about. Like, as we're helping you to be more of who you are, who you were created to be, then you're going to be able to be that in every aspect of your life. You can, clarify things and be honest with people. Certainly you can protect what you need to not share with other people, but my point is as you're authentically you, you're going to be able to, walk around and create more value as a ripple from everything that you touch. And you're in charge of you. You actually do create your existence. So the words you say, if you're speaking to your creation and your expansion, then that's great. But if you're speaking to your negative and your limitations and what you can't do or how you're victimizing yourself, then you're going to create that, and you're going to be able to hold yourself stuck into the same place, or even go backwards from the development that we're working on. So I like to think strategically, and I think about, if we can just keep doing baby steps in a sequence where we can try to cover a lot of ground, then we can actually be able to experience a lot of progress. So it's not about big leaps or big massive, momentums. It's just baby steps consistently over time that'll put you on that right path and keep you on that right course, helping you progress. Because even a little bit of steps over a course of time, that's like why the turtle always wins, right? So also want to just caution you, because you're going to be working with different people depending on how your team is formulating. Just don't take on other people's burdens. We all have to make it to the top on our own, and you can't be able to put people on your back. And it was really shared with me. It was a really neat mentor principle that my mentor shared with me, a principle. It's called the suitcase principle. When someone comes to you and they open up all of their ideas of things that they have, the challenges, struggles, and all that stuff, it's like they're opening up their suitcase and they're throwing out all their dirty clothes and underwear and different things all over the place, right? Because they're talking from their perspective, what's holding them back. And as they get done with that conversation, make sure they pack up all of their stuff, their dirty laundry and dirty clothes and all that, and put it back into that suitcase, and that they take that suitcase with them. Because it's not yours to deal with their stuff. Certainly they can come and they can talk to you as you are their leader, or you're mentoring them and guiding them, but you're not to take that on. You're not to carry that baggage, because if you start putting that baggage on top of your baggage, on top of other people's baggage, you'll have so much stuff you won't be able to move. So just remember that, everyone comes in, they can reveal what they want, they close it up, they take their own baggage with them, and they leave. So keep that in mind as you're mentoring people and as you're helping people through this process, because that's their burden to carry. And as they want to talk about it, then they can reveal that, and then they can close it up and take it with them. So that brings us to the passion section. I like the word passion. It looks like pass I on. It's how I pass myself on, how I create duplication in the value that I'm establishing here, that we're helping you to write and be able to have it be expressed. How do you pass this along to other people? So you're going to be inspired from the inside when you're using passion and not needing to have force or push to motivate you. So you don't need to, there's a difference in motivation and inspiration. Like, inspiration comes from the inside, and it has me be a self-starter and has me take actions. But motivation comes from an outside force, like they have to champion or rah-rah or cheerlead or have a certain kind of focus to get me to do something. What's cool is when we put our passion into motion, we know that we are unstoppable, and it was continuing to be passed on because it just keeps bubbling out of us, right? It's just who we are. It's how we're clear channel, and we're cleared up, and we know what we're here for. So I like to look at that word and see that's how I pass it on myself on. I've realized that passion can be anger against something as much as love for something. So both can fuel and spark action and momentum. One is fueled by moving something that they don't want to tolerate anymore, and the other is fueled by going for what they want intensely and experience more of it. So let your passion be able to be understood, right? So you want to make sure that you're not just blowtorching people. You know, like if you think about taking a flamethrower across a field of dry grass, you know, if I have that fire, it's going to burn, you know, big, and it's going to go and control itself and walk all the way across that field. And then afterwards, I've just got this big black field that's been burnt, right? That'd be a blowtorch. And unfortunately, I've run into so many people that are in a business that is like mine, a network marketing or direct sales business, and they're just blasting it to everybody. And they're really not carefully understanding how to contain the power of that passion, or to have that passion not singe people's eyebrows off and, you know, burn their hair when they get too close to them. So try not to be a blowtorch. That's sort of the wrong energy. But instead, look at being able to sense and hear things. Like, you know, there's a couple of different kind of ratios. Look at 4 to 1. You know, I've got 2 eyes and 2 ears and 1 mouth, so 4 to 1. But if you add to it your heart in sensing people, if I've got 2 eyes, 2 ears, and my heart, and I'm listening and sensing people with all 5 of those senses to 1 mouth, so 4 to 1 or 5 to 1, just make sure you're sensing people more than you're talking. So if I'm telling, then I'm not listening. And so listen and sense and take it in. You'll find that, you know, people are far more ready to follow your leadership or try your product or consider your service or whatever it may be that you're offering to the world if you're listening with higher senses than talking. Okay. And how that comes in a play of things is, you know, think about yourself as being this unlimited fountain. Like, you know, we're filled up and we fill up and we spill over. Someone else can come and fill their cup from that overflow. I used to, you know, stand at the front of the room with a marker, and I would just hold it up here and I'd be like, look, I have this candle here, this light, you know, you have a candle, you can come light your candle for mine. And I would have them come to me and look like they were lighting that candle from me rather than blowtorching them. So imagine how that looks in your prospecting and your onboarding and educating people. If I'm asking them to come to me and get some information, then they're coming and lighting themselves, and they're walking away enlightened. They're not burnt or singed or overwhelmed, anything like that. So that's just another good analogy for you to be able to see how we want to contain our passion so that it doesn't burn or singe people, but that it magnifies and it magnetizes people to you, right? It brings them to you. That's really more of what we want to do, where they're coming to fill up their cup from your overflowingness of things, like the value that you offer and the way you make it easy and how you're bringing people on board your opportunity. So that brings us to fulfill up, where we're looking at real collaboration. And when you think about the movie Bug's Life, that one actually caught my attention years ago with kids, watching all of the grasshoppers that were overwhelming the ants, making them work hard for them. And when we think about it, even though we may be small, we're many. And when we start working together on a common cause, we can overcome any challenge. And so that's really more of the motivation when we look at, you know, really collaborating, working together with all of our uniquenesses and our smallness put together. We become more powerful than any force that's trying to overwhelm us, whether it be the economy or an industry or, you know, people misunderstanding, you know, direct sales and network marketing or whatever that may be. When we come together and we collaborate, we're more powerful than any one threat. So remember, collaboration is the key. And I like to talk about that. I think I've already shared that in there, but when you look at the, you know, the math of 1 + 1 is 11. And then you add another, you know, it's 111, and another, that's 1,111. When we come alongside one another, we become a mighty collaborative force of positive and knowing ourselves, being authentic and being honest. You know, then we're able to do so much more because we're able to know how we're able to give that seeing and hearing to others. We're attracting people that just feel better in our presence, and they want to learn more about themselves and how to take care of others because they're inspired to do what we're doing and share that message. So just understand that's how that collaborative force gets arranged. So we've seen a shift from offline to online, and so basically I think we're going to see another shift coming back around to that as well, where it's going to be swinging back. So if you look at it from relationship development and being able to get the power of a group working together, that's what we're talking about here. And so finding ways to connect with people through video and different things like that, allowing the organization to grow on purpose, that's going to be a key thing, because I think that as we look at it, people are tired of just things that are too polished and marketing to them, but they want to be able to connect with real people that can actually know and sense them, to understand them. So that's really a key thing where I think we're moving into more of a powerful time for us. As I was watching some kids when they were skateboarding, I was noticing that, they're trying all these tricks and things like that. And it was like they weren't afraid to fall down. They were using, doing all kinds of new things, trying to spin and twist, but looking at that persistence and that ability to get up and try something different again and again, that ability to do that is what's going to create something new. And for some of us, it's just trying to get back in the game, and others of us, it's like, well, let's push the envelope a little bit. Let's try, to do things that haven't been thought of, and continue with that same kind of childlike persistence to be able to do things so we can get to be more powerful. So now, when we look at, sometimes we're just holding on too tight. There's this judgment that's dominating many people's perspectives right now. They may be determining their self-worth by the balance or the lack of money in their bank account, or they may just feel useless as they are able to, that they can't retire from this long career that they've had. They may have just had the rug ripped out from under them as they've suffered a job or a business failure, job loss or a business failure. And no matter what the economy, it seems to be that that's something that still goes on a lot, even if we're out of a recession and into another time frame. It doesn't really matter. People are going to lose jobs and businesses are going to fail all the time. And people need to have the ability to look at, well, what's next? The negativity that accompanies this judgment when people are doing that is, they're looking at their bank account as being their value. It's poison. It shuts down their creative ability to think of new solutions or to see an opportunity. It encourages them to quit or give up on things because it's just like, well, for me, it's not going to work, right? And there's a divine purpose that we want to bring them back to, that they've been made to be able to do something. All of these struggles have made them stronger. And so when we can help them to move forward, to be able to make more than enough money to take care of their needs, we're going to help them build that lifestyle that they want. This is going to be restoring them on all levels so much more than we ever notice, because sometimes it's like where people have been, they could never imagine that they could have time or money freedom. So I like to kind of play with that, like, when do you want to have it? When? And then now, people say, so then just like, well, let's help them win, W-I-N, now. And so instead of it being like, well, sometime off in the future, let's help them try to win as now as possible, right? You've already begun to prepare for this journey. And now I've shared with you why I want you to join and take action. So I've invited you to be a part and create what's possible first for yourself and your family, and then for your friends and your community. So let's lead our lives to make a difference and then create real value in our community. So as we're doing this, it's a process of doing it and then being able to do it with people, share, and then have others do it as well. So it's a rippling effect that will transform our communities in ways we don't even realize, because as we're relating better and connecting and collaborating better, so much more value can be exchanged and so many more people can become more time and money free when we start to work together, because no one can really do this all by themselves. So as you look to try to attract opportunities, that's this next section here on page 103. So I remember that I made a decision not to play small and developed into the leader, helping people gain more impact in their life or business. This was over a decade of development, and I'm sure I'm not done yet, because obviously I don't believe there's a thing as done, right? We don't actually arrive. I'm committed to being this lifelong learner. I learn from everything. And as I reflect on my path of development, I discover value that was created from different segments. At the time, I hadn't seen that these segments fit together, but looking back, each gave me a significant part. So I'm sharing my experiences here because that's what I know in order to be able to give you evidence. Yours will be different, but that's what I can share with you, because you're going to have your own experiences that'll be totally different. So learning these ideas is the focus here, so you can see within some of the experiences that I've shared here and what will be different for you, but it'll give you the idea of like, oh, that's what she was talking about there, or this is how it played out for me in my life. So it's more about what you get out of this than about the experiences that I'm sharing. But what's interesting is all of these things that happened over years and years of time, I started seeing them just really fit into place like they were parts of a puzzle or parts of a path. First I invested in my own development with time and money. Then I got some great mentors that actually helped me in multiple different ways, who invested in me for personal development as well as business development, because no one really gets anywhere alone. And then I leveraged other people's experiences too to expand my knowledge to be able to have, as I was waiting for my own experiences. So it's a process of working in and through these relationships that allowed me to be able to get to where I was able to be effective and to be able to start having doors open and, being able to have more speaking opportunities and more leadership opportunities. So it's a progressive path that you're on here, and it's definitely worth your investment. But taking an assessment too of your unique gifts, we like now to be able to take the strengths assessment. That helps us so much to help a leader that we're working with, because now we can see how they're formulated and make sure the activities they're doing are going to be in their best and top strengths, so they give energy to them, versus in those lower bottom strengths where that takes energy away, and it helps them to not defeat themselves too quickly. So as we look at it, even sometimes people don't realize that they have so much value. Like if you could go and ask some people around you, they would be able to share with you more correctly probably who you are and how you behave and how they can depend on you than you would actually say for yourself. So maybe do a little assessment with some people that that are close to you, and have them tell, hey, what are my best strengths, and what is it that you appreciate about me, and how is it that you see me relating to people so that I can, lead a team of people? What would you say would be my best skills to be able to do that? They could probably give you a better assessment of who you are than you would, because of the way that we hold ourselves back, and we have those crabs that we're still carrying around that still have voice on us, right? So just understanding correctly what it is you can leverage and what strengths you can bring to action. So when I ask an audience, how can I serve you, and share exactly what they wanted to learn at the exact point, they felt more served than before. So make sure that what you're sharing with people is relevant to what they're asking for. So as paying attention again to those sensing of listening, as you're listening on all levels and all layers, you'll find that you'll be able to give them a lot more value, because they'll be ready for what you're asking at that particular time. And so that's a key thing as we're relating to people, that we're watching and paying attention to what the signs are telling us. So I'm always sharing how to distinguish yourself or your business from the competition. It's a key component you'll want to build if you want to accelerate your success. This works whether you own your own business or whether you're an employee. There's always a way to better connect and relate to build your value. So think about it. Your personal brand is where we're headed into this. My background is in marketing and branding, and I love to be able to help people be more magnetic about that, where they magnetize their perfect customer to them, versus trying to go out and trying to yell at everybody, right? So making sure you're really standing for who you're helping, and making sure that you're speaking that language that's going to attract your primary customer or your best colleague, your best leaders, those kind of people, whatever you're trying to do out there. But knowing that your personal brand and your business brand is valuable, since you never get a second chance to make a first impression, it's critical to develop in the areas that give you the most impact. If you're working a job, your presence is being evaluated the whole time. If you own a business, people are choosing to do business with you first and your business second. Remember, they buy you first. And so it might be just, my name is strange. I always try to make sure that everyone feels welcome. And I try to use humor about that to be able to set sort of the awkwardness of meeting people, to be able to make that more easy with some humor. Another thing too is just how you want to show up in the world, like what kinds of talents and strengths, and how will they know you? How do you describe yourself as to who they will see you as, and how will you follow up with them? People do business with people they know, like, and trust. So your presence, your first impression, is something to pay attention to increase your results. It might just be an area that is holding you back from getting the positive impact that you desire, because you're not doing it with any thought. If you be intentional about that and know what you're doing, certain colors, certain way you show up, certain dress, certain language, the way that people can consistently find you, how easy it is to get in touch with you, whatever it may be. All of these things are contributing to your own personal brand. So knowing to do those intentionally is going to be better than just letting them haphazardly create something for you. One key is always, to be yourself, obviously. Be real. People can spot fake. So you need to know that whatever you're going to create, that it's authentic and that you want to be that and you want to show up that way. People will invest in things that produce real results all the time. So having people understand that, the results, so share the stories of things that you've been able to create. They need to know what value you've been able to bring. It's not bragging. It's helping, them to be able to see that, hey, this person's family got this result, so I'm expecting I should be able to get some result from this because she's been able to do that with this family. So make sure that that's evident, okay? And then as I'm looking at here, just the last little section here, this isn't the end. We're talking about focusing and refocusing only on this question: what is the next step? So if you're in any place in business or job or wherever you're at, like, what is the next step? What is the next step? That's the only one you can do, is the next step, right? So if you're overwhelmed or you're someone who tends to get overwhelmed in big ideas, let's just break it down. What's that next step? What's the next thing you should do? And then you can take any problem and you can break it down into whatever, because we tell a lot of stories and we get stuck in a lot of things. What is the next step? What's the next step? And then when you answer that question, then of course, then the question is, what is the next step? It sounds very simple, but it helps you to be able to know how, each action has a sequence. And even if you're doing something like an event or something like that, remember that after that event is over, what's the next step there? People are going to be all charged up. They're going to be wanting to, have access to whatever you've offered. And I've talked about the movie, The Pay It Forward, in the book here. And it was just like at the end of that screen, when I saw the black screen going by, I'm like, wow, they really had us wanting to do something. We could have been a part of a social cause. And I know they did stuff later on a website, but it was right at the end of the movie that we were all charged to take action. So remember that people are going to be ready when you've got them informed and they know why and they know what and they want to take action. So that next step needs to be there so that you can bring them to your community or your next sequence in bringing them into your business. So there's a couple things, like when you look at learning, if you read this book, and you would probably only retain 10% of it if you just never said anything about it. But by actually working with the journaling, you're going to get deeper and deeper into the learning of it. That's why it's important for you to write it out and do the journaling questions. That's going to help you to take this material and make it more productive. If you'll take it one step further and discuss it with others, then sharing the experiences and then helping them to take an action that you've been taking in here, that's going to make it even go up to a much, much higher retention. And then you're going to actually see how you're going to really start creating effortlessness in your life, and you'll have life and business effortlessly. So that's going to be another benefit, to be able to be more involved with not just looking at it, but actually being involved with it and then involving others with it and then helping to help them see it through too. So let us know how we can support you. Obviously, what it is you need. How can I serve you? Ask for support from your group. A lot of times we do these in these Facebook groups, and so making sure that you're actually involved in the communication there on a daily basis, that creates community faster than anything I've seen. When a group of people go through a common, training or something like this, working in some kind of language and format like this, as people are sharing their struggles and their successes, and they're doing some kind of conversation in a Facebook group or a private group like this, that bonds a community. That community can collaborate and go anywhere way more effectively than a bunch of people working individually. So it's one of the reasons why we put these groups together inside a Facebook group, so you guys can further your own community development even after this work is done. And then, of course, start with the end in mind. What is it you want to create? You got to look at what it is you're trying to do, so you'll know what area your journey is going in. So start with the end in mind, and we're working to formulate basically what I call is collective intelligence. I've got strengths, you've got strengths, we're all adding together, and what's nice is no one individual has to have it all figured out, but coming together, we're all going to work better as a team and collaborating, and our collective intelligence is going to be able to solve a lot more issues and help us to go further and get the message out farther. So just understanding that you are an amazing human being, I want to make sure that you understand that from my perspective. I'm always enamored with people and where they're at. They're so much more capable than they realize. And when they start realizing it, it's really great to see you actually being you with no limits. That's the most beautiful thing for any mentor or coach to see, is to see the light bulb come on in you, and to know that you're going to be able to be fine. You're going to take your value and you're going to share it with the world in a way that's going to create great ripple effect. That's what I love seeing with that acronym of life. Let it flow effortlessly. So that's my wish for you. As we finish out here through page 112, we'll be looking at sharing hope and helping other people every day in the next section. And I just thank you for being here with us, and look forward to hearing more comments and more of how this is impacting your life. Have a great day.